Job done, done and dusted. Leeds United head back to the top of the league, deservedly so. It was like a night after night. It was like a night after night. I'm not going to lie. And listen, that goes towards the quality of the opposition tonight. So poor. But Leeds United professional, job done, timely subs as well, including some smart scenarios too, which we'll get into. But yeah, this was an easy night of football. I don't think the guys are going to have much easier nights than tonight. It was lovely. And we've got a nice few days break until we go to Burnley away. I think that's a real good break to have. Sheffield United, of course, play Hull City on Friday night. Sure, they'll win that game. But then we've got a tough one. Of course we will. But listen, people, before we get into the nooks and crannies of the game, please like the video. It really does help out the channel. Subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed, free to do. And so is liking the video. That's free as well. And of course, drop your comments below. And listen, shout out to Parrot House, who did give a super chat on this video. It's disappeared now. Super sticker. Thank you for the support, Parrot House, who's also a member. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description. Also, by the way, if you haven't followed me on IG, which is also known as Instagram, please follow me on there too. Same name as the YouTube name as well. Bobby, we're going to be talking about him. Listen, I've just looked in my previous thumbnail. I did put something. It was either King Solomon or Lord of the Manor. I couldn't use it again, so I've gone with King Solomon Still Rules or something like that. I don't know what I've put, but he's cooking, and we're going to speak about that. Scott saying, has everyone woken up after that just dull? We'll speak about that as well, Scott. Listen, Scott, you know what the football's like. It's not going to be great, but I actually think it's a good thing getting into it. And the only reason why I say that is because we don't need to exude loads of energy in games like this. Norwich brought absolutely nothing to the table tonight. Nothing. Like nada. I think that the commentator even said their last shot attempt was the 28th minute of the game. People, we didn't need to do anything extreme tonight. I had a 2-0 victory in the preview. I was correct on that one. Should have put a couple of pounds on that one. But listen, I know what back of the net saying here. Measured, passive, effective, snooze fest football served up by Danny Varker again. I should be happy, and I am. Listen, it's one of these things for me where it's about being smart, and especially when you're going with the same starting 11 as you put out in the previous game with two people that were, you know, questionable for this game. I think that the game panned out in the best way possible, and that being said as well, I did think we was going to have a couple of changes. We'll speak about the team in a bit. But guys, for me, yes, could we win these games a bit more handsome, a bit like what I'm going to show you in a bit with Burnley, what they're currently doing right now to Plymouth as we speak? It would be nice, but my expectation for that went a long time ago. And look, we've won the last game 3-0 where we didn't really deserve to win it 3-0. And we've won this one 2-0 tonight where it could have been more if we were a little bit more efficient with our shot attempts. Michael saying here, Farker gone over to the Ellen Road crowd to wake them up. Sorry to G them up. I hear it, guys. I'm with you. Honestly, I switch off sometimes watching the games. Full disclosure, that's probably why I can't do watch-alongs for some of these games, because the football is a bit dry. It was. Listen, we started out like a house on fire, and what a goal as well. And it's what I've been saying as well, by the way, in terms of just the way that we pass and move. That move was absolutely delicious. That move was absolutely scrumptious, man. Between Aronson, Bogle with the flick. Bogle again, by the way, another top performance by Jayden Bogle, who's hungry for goals, by the way. He keeps on trying to shoot at every opportunity he can. Beautiful interchange in play. Dan James with the across, and King Solomon, movement on point. Near post finish. That's the kind of finish that I think Joseph's looking for when he's on the pitch. He doesn't get those kind of opportunities really, but listen, Manor Solomon is on fire. He did get subbed today and he went down the tunnel. Maybe it's to check on that pre-existing injury that he had, but we're going to need him fresh for the game against Burnley. We're going to need Manor Solomon because he's on a different level yet, people. And he's on a different level at this moment in time. He's just playing like as advertised. Former, you know, Premier League, Ukrainian League winner, Champions League pedigree. He's playing at that level right now. He looks like he's enjoying his football out there. And I think that's probably why he fought through whatever nut that he had to play in this game tonight, because he just wants to keep that good form going after such a tumultuous couple of years with injury. So long may it continue, man. Long may it continue. Yeah. Hyru. At least it wasn't Barcelona Benfica entertaining, but also frustrating. What a crazy game. Not too much, but Raf, man. I put it on my Insta yesterday, man, just looking at him collecting the man of the match performance and just thinking, this guy was at Leeds United. This guy was at Leeds United. And when you look back, because I even had to just double check what we were surrounded him with, he didn't deserve that kind of treatment. He could have pressed charges against us, in all honesty. Wait a minute. I've got to use Adam Forshaw as my midfielder, Tyler Roberts. He could have pressed charges legitimately for a player of that quality, man. He's saucy, man. Love to see it, though, with Raf. Yeah, the header was crazy, Carl. It was just that looked like championship gas, but his winner, though, beautiful, beautiful, man. Scott here saying, Aronson, going back to our game here in the championship, Aronson stopped giving away in the second half and kept it well. But listen, people, let's get into it. Oh, Max. I mean, the long throws. Have you seen what he's done? I think he's got something like 30 goal involvements this season. It could be 40. And we tried to utilize this man as a right wing back playing long throws. Criminal. Honestly, no help. Absolutely no help, man. El Toro Blanco saying here, ref had over 2.5 yellow cards on bet now in the first half. You know what? I've seen two. Listen, referees are referees. Like I say, control what you can control, and we've done that tonight. But I watched yesterday's game with Sheffield United Swansea. And maybe it's the fact that Swansea are a smaller team. Maybe it's the fact they had like 25 fans in the stadium, but they got absolutely shafted on a couple of occasions. First of all, with their red card, it was never a red. Then the Sheffield United player basically did the same tackle, but worse a few minutes later, got a yellow. Swansea should have had a penalty in the first half, but their player didn't go down, so the referee didn't give it. It was all mad, but that's what you get when you're one of the bigger teams in the league, and that's what Sheffield United are at this level. Yeah, Pete. Yeah. He didn't want to be here. Yeah, all that nonsense. So going into this, let's have a look. Lineup, as we said, absolutely the same. No changes. It was the same group all around. Byram getting another start ahead of Firpo. Firpo did come on later. I think it's pretty reasonable to say why Firpo didn't start today. He is looking like he does need to get back into match fitness. He didn't do anything wrong when he came on, but you could see he looked a little rusty. So maybe that's why Sam got the start again. I've got to think as well, though, even though I do prefer a left footer on that side, going to Burnley, who are just defensively ridiculous people. Look, we're going to have a look in a minute, but they've conceded only 9 goals this season, which is incredible. I've got to think that maybe he's going to go with Sam Byram in that game as well. But obviously, we'll speak about that when we preview it, just because Sam Byram is a bit more reliable defensively. So it wouldn't surprise me if Sam Byram gets the call come Monday, because both actually Byram, James, and Solomon all came off pretty early. And Tanaka, due to his yellow card, and he was on the edge of getting possibly another one, he got subbed off early. So I want to give Farker credit for that, because before, maybe last season, Farker would have kept on Tanaka and maybe one other. I think it was Byram as well, also yellow carded early. I think he would have probably kept them on, but he did actually draw into action, substituting before the 60th minute. So I will give him credit for that. And I think, considering he played the same team again, I think he managed them a lot better. But I have to say again, I don't think that we used a lot of energy tonight. It was like walking football at times. And even in the first half, I mean, we don't need to get too deep into this, but after we scored the first goal, there was a bit more pressure for about maybe 10-ish minutes. But it did seem like both teams were just waiting for the halftime whistle. It was like pedestrian football. Andre's here saying here, I want to see more Firpo and Solomon. They'd have a good partnership. Yeah, I think just having a natural left footer down there just gives you automatically better balance. But I can see Daniel Farker, you know how defensive he is. I think he's going to possibly go with Byram on Monday, but we shall see. Ian here saying Aronson really needs a rest. I understand it. We'll get there in just a second, actually. I thought Tanaka, I thought that the midfield two were probably two of the worst on here. Not worst, but I don't think they perform well, especially Rothwell. I think he's had 2 games very indifferent. I know he gave that ball in the first game against Sheffield Wednesday, I should say, that led to the first goal for Solomon. But I think overall, I don't think he's had 2 good games. And with Gruev now getting more match fitness, getting back in. By the way, Gruev looks very mobile since his injury. I don't know whether it's just because he's running off adrenaline or what have you, but he looks a little bit quicker than before his injury. Bit crazy for me, but I can see with Rothwell him possibly being one to drop out. But what I will say is that I want Ampadu back in midfield. Ampadu was, again, just a Rolls Royce at centre back, but they didn't have a lot to do. But for me, Ampadu and Tanaka is the way to go in central midfield, and that's why it's important for me why we do get in another centre back on loan. I think it's very important just for the balance of the team. And even Danny Farker himself said about the balance of the team in terms of Ampadu. He doesn't want to see him in the running at centre back, and I don't want to see that either. Let's have a look. Oh, have you disagree, Leeds? Rothwell was released. Rubbish tonight, in my opinion. Rothwell was released. I don't know what that means. I'll be real. I don't know what's going on there. Matt here saying the championship grind. Boy, oh boy, it's a slog. 3 points onto Monday. We go. But yeah, so yeah, Rothwell for me, if he wants to keep his place, especially as a straight up loanee, he needs to perform a little bit better for me, in my opinion. But when we go into the front four, this is where the conversations will happen, I guess. But first of all, Brendan Aronson, we'll speak on him if you want. I see Peru's in there too. Brendan Aronson, again, much like Rothwell for me, second game in a row, heavily involved in the first goal, but I do understand what people are saying in terms of maybe he could do with the rest. This was his 26th start in a row for in terms of the league games for Leeds United. He won't be dropped, and he will play again against Burnley, people. So there's no point asking for another one. But he deserves to start. I think him having two fairly quietish games is okay, considering he's been pretty good for us all season. But yeah, it would be nice for him just to be a little bit quicker with the passing. If he could just release the ball a little bit quicker at times, it would help. Because I see what other people are saying about Joel Peru. But again, it's one of these things where it's not as blatant as it was against Sheffield Wednesday, where I pointed out there was 2 runs that he made and he wasn't getting picked up. But Joel Peru did have a couple of opportunities tonight, and he didn't take them. But yeah, it's one of those things where he's being used to occupy the centre backs at this moment in time, and our wingers are getting all the fruits of the play. So yeah, exactly. There in that Peru got no service too. Yeah, the couple chances he had, half chances, I would say, weren't supplied to him like Solomon's first goal. It wasn't one of those where it just whipped across and finish. He had to kind of like get him out himself, get him out of his feet, and take a shot. Michael here saying no, Peru doesn't look like someone that's enjoying the role he's being asked to play. We are seriously not using him in the best way. Yep. As a team, Michael, it's working, but I do get your point in the first one. Absolutely get that. He probably doesn't fully enjoy it, but it's for the betterment of the team and the way we play. And this goes to something, because I've seen you guys talk about him, so I just want to touch on it quickly, because a couple of you did message me yesterday with Joe Gelhardt and his goal yesterday for Hull. Brilliant goal, by the way, for Joe Gelhardt. But there's a couple of things with that. There's no point saying we could use Joe Gelhardt. There's no point saying, oh, look what he could have done for us at Leeds. He wasn't getting the opportunities, people. He wasn't getting the opportunities. He literally had 2 substitute appearances to his name. And by the way, if he was playing for us, he would never, ever have taken that shot. That's just true. He wouldn't have. Even if he saw the keeper in the same spot and he's playing for Leeds United in the same scenario, he wouldn't have shot. He would have tried to make the pass, the extra pass, like we do in this current team, because we don't do that. Tell me when's the last time you saw someone take a legitimate shot from outside the box? It rarely happens, does it? So he's gone to Hull, where he's got a bit more of a free role. He's got a bit more of a free reign. He's out of the big shadow of Leeds United. He can just get on with his football, and he's allowed to express himself a bit more, just like I said he would. It's not like Joe Gelhardt's a bad player. He just needed a new, fresh scenery. That's all he needed, and that's what he got. That's what he's got now with Hull City. And fair play to him, man. Real good goal for him. But again, he does not take that opportunity for Leeds, and it's not because he doesn't have the ability. It's just that he would have probably been trying too hard as well, trying not to lose the ball or put one over the bar, which will probably make Farker mad or something. It just wouldn't have happened. So it's one of those it's one of those things, people, where I know what people are trying to say, but no point saying Gelhardt should still be here when he wasn't even utilized. Exactly, Matt. Matt just repeating this as well. That goal never happens for him if he's playing for us. It doesn't. He doesn't. And Hyrie just saying here, happy for Jaffe. He deserves to play, and I'm glad he's getting some game time. Absolutely. But back to us, because I got to speak about it. Dan James, goal and assist for him tonight. good performance overall for Dan James today. Again, effective at this level. He's always going to be a threat just from his movement, his pace and power that he possesses. But the key man is Manor Solomon. And he is just a complete difference maker. And the thing is, I hear what you guys are saying about Ramazani. He needs to start. I even put him as a starter because I thought Solomon was going to have to drop out tonight due to, injury doubts. But when he's playing, man, he's just unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. He is brilliant. Some of my Spurs mates are saying, "Thank you for getting him playing so well. Hopefully, we can sell him in the summer for a decent fee." And knowing Tottenham and the way that Manor Solomon's playing at this point in time, they may just get that. They may just get a good fee for him come the summertime. But yeah, Manor Solomon is the key right now. So as much as Ramazani looks good, and again, Ramazani looked good when he came on, looked sharp, made Angus Gunn work again. In terms of just him, he loves to shoot the ball, which is something I love in a player. We got a lot of passers that like to get that extra pass. Ramazani will just hit it through people and get it through on goal. But Manor Solomon, you can't drop him. He's literally probably the best player on the pitch right now. And it doesn't mean he's the best player overall, but there's no one probably in better form overall. And that's big. That's a big compliment because you got Dan James doing well. You've got our centre backs doing well. You got Jaden Bogle doing brilliantly. It's a good compliment for him to have. Pops here, shout out to you, Pops. I hope they here we go. I hope they sell him to us when we get to the Prem football. We shall see. We shall see. Nidar saying here, Big Andrew will probably play Solomon at centre back. Tremendous. Ram in the house saying Ampadu looking really good at the moment. Exactly. I just mentioned, I did mention the centre backs, Roden as well. But yeah, Ampadu's looking real good out there, man. But please, let's get him back in defensive midfield so we get the full usage of Ampadu, because that's where he thrives. That's where he performs even better. Getting another centre back, man. Just do it, Leeds. All the directors were there today. I just hope they're not looking at this going, well, 2 clean sheets in a row. Hey, we don't need to do nothing for this month. No, just make sure of it. You know what I mean? Make sure, get that position sorted, even whatever happens with Pascal Stroud, whether he's back next week. We know that Stroud's hamstring could play up again between now and the end of the season. Just get another centre back just for safety. Because let me tell you, every other position, people, we're good. Let me just get this here. This was our bench today. This bench, by the way, people, is better than what we had in the Premier League, which is an embarrassment within itself. But having this bench that we've got in the Championship is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Firpo, Ramazani, Gilavogi, Nanto, Gruev, Matteo Joseph, Darlow at this level, Schmidt, by the way, the forgotten man, Max Verber, who hopefully his knee gets better. We need him playing as well. Would be nice to see Max Verber get some minutes, but we are having to manage his knee. But yeah, just ridiculous depth. Just a centre back. That's all I ask. That's all I want. That's all I want, man. Maxi is saying I would still give Dan James player of the season right now, but I feel like there's something else, isn't it? There's something else there. But Max is saying overall, yeah, DJ's been one of our best players overall this season. Absolutely. But Manor Solomon is hotter than fish grease right now. He's on fire. He's just on fire, man. Scott here saying, and Farker doesn't use it properly. Fairs. I can't argue with that. Yeah, El Toro saying here that bench could make the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. There's the last bit for Max, but Mano is fast approaching. But that's what I'm saying in terms of the bench. We have players on this bench that other teams would give their left leg for as a starter, and we've got them in the tuck. We can take off Solomon and James, bring on Ramazani and Nanto. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but we've got to take full advantage of it, of course. We kept the ball away from Melier tonight, which is, again, another good sign. But this is pitiful from Norwich, man. Look at this. Pitiful stuff. Like I said, they didn't have another shot near the goal from like the 28th minute on. No shots on target for Norwich. The second game in a row. The previous one was against Sheffield United. So they're starving right now. Their manager looked a little bit agitated tonight, especially when Tanaka didn't get the second yellow. But yeah, they stink. Basically, they just stink. But a lot of teams stink. Swansea stunk last night. There's the lack of quality in this league. I know people are probably sick of me saying it. It's disgusting, man. The lack of quality in the Championship now used to be one of the best leagues where you think, man, look at some of these players. They could go up to the Prem. Yeah, nah, absolutely not. Yeah, all Solomon, aren't we, man? King Solomon, man. Salute to you. Salute to you. Yeah, JTEX, I think the touches in our box, you know what? I could be wrong, but I think it was about three. I think it was three, but don't quote me on that. Um, if we can get Solomon. Mike here just saying, if we can get Solomon for around 10 million, I'd absolutely take him. You think they'd want more than that? Oh, for sure. For sure they want more than 10 million. But hey, 10 million is not a bad fee for a player of that quality. But yeah, listen, we'll speak about that later in the year. Listen, there's a lot that can happen. He's currently managing probably another little injury, so we need to just be careful with that because once he's out, he's out. So yeah, we'll discuss that nearer to the time. We thought nearer to the time. Robert here though saying thought Peru was okay, but SB straight underneath says Joseph to start against Burnley. I don't know if Farke is going to change his formula at this moment in time. I don't, and we've seen this more. We've seen this more. We've seen this before with Farke when he gets something settled. And he's even said before this game, by the way, there may be some rotation. He didn't rotate nothing. He didn't rotate nothing tonight. So it would not surprise me if we see this exact same starting lineup against Burnley on Monday. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And I don't think it would surprise any of you as well. And listen, Pete just saying here, he's made a biscuit. You can't be overpaying for Solomon. So there you go. Let's have a look. What are we saying here? Ali in the house. Regarding the quality of the championship, I remember an article from the Yep 10 years ago with the title "Narrow the financial gap before our championship is worthless." Yeah, well, look, it's not from like 10 years ago. It's more from like 5 after the worldwide shutdown. We'll just say it that way, because once the money stopped there and clubs had to tighten the shoestrings and PNS and everything else, it just means that clubs can't get that Premier League player that's not quite good for the Prem but kills it in the Champ for like 6-7 million. They can't do it anymore. So what you're getting now is a team just full of players that probably should be playing League One, playing in the Championship, and you can see it. The quality has suffered tremendously. Good for us this season because it should be an easier path to get up. But yeah, it's terrible, man. Honestly, some of the players in this division shouldn't be here. Seriously. What Hank is just saying here, Aronson was hurting after that knee to the back. Yeah, maybe so, but you know, he did get to stay on quite a lot. So if there was any complications for that Hank, he would have been taken off a bit earlier, in my opinion. And FV White here just saying here, Farke is doing the business. So let me just see. Yeah, Burnley just pummeling Plymouth today, sending out a little message before our game, because usually Burnley don't do this, but they actually absolutely kill Plymouth tonight. Let's have a look at just a couple of things. Oh, Plymouth did get a shot on target today. That's it. That's embarrassing, man. That's so embarrassing. But look, Burnley are one of the best teams in the league, so it's to be expected, right? It's to be expected. Let me just get the latest up. And this is the table. This is the table right now. Burnley should have a win at the end there. Ignore that. It shouldn't be a draw. But that's where we are. Sheffield United kept the seat warm from us overnight. But we're back on top. We're back on top where we should be. But look at that Burnley goal difference. I mean, we're killing it in the goals for column. Obviously, 53 goals, absolutely smashing it. And that's without, you know, our striker, whichever one, you know, on fire. You know what I mean? There's still a debate whether who should take the jersey at this moment in time. But Burnley only conceded 9 goals. That's amazing. You know what I mean? Gotta give credit where it's due. I know Scott Parker and Daniel Farke are both, you know, criticized for the same thing in terms of safe football. But that's amazing at any level. 9 goals conceded. So it's going to be tough Monday. It's going to be tough. You know, make no bones about it. And Sheffield United just keep on getting the job done, you know, and they're adding to their team. So it's up to us to stay on our game so we continue to be in the top 2. Conal here. It's not Conal, isn't it? It's not. Is this? It's one of the Irish names, isn't it? That don't sound the way it looks. But I'm gonna have to say Conal for now because I don't know what else it is. But shout out to you. Away from home, we'll continue to suffer without a combative number 9. I don't think a number 9's on the menu though. I don't. Centre back really should be on the menu, but I really don't think another striker's on the menu while Bamford's out injured. Just don't see it happening. Don't see them investing in a 4th striker. It doesn't make sense, money wise or team morale wise. It doesn't. So I think there has to be a gap or someone leaving before we even consider getting a 9. But I don't disagree. Don't disagree. It would be nice to have a different, type of striker up there, but I'm still comfortable with Joseph from Peru just purely for what they do for the team, and the team's thriving, whether it be our wingers, whether it comes from central midfield, centre back, full back. We're getting goals from a lot of places, and the league table and the games prove it as well. Pops here though saying no, I would still prefer a 10 over a centre back. Get that too. Give Aronson a bit of a break. I understand that, but for me, it's the reason why I'm so headstrong on the defense is because we need to protect Melier as much as possible. He does not need to be seeing any shots, in my opinion. Keep him as suppressed as possible. Keep him seeing the ball as little as possible. And we also have defenders that all seem to have injury doubts, bar Roden and Bogle. The rest we have to manage them, whether it be Verbal with his knee, Strauch obviously with his hamstring, Furpo can pick up the injuries as well. Sam Byron, we know can't play consecutively for a long time. He has to go in the cryo chamber and rest up. So that's why it's important for me that we do get another centre back, and plus as well, DeBayo, not even a factor because he didn't even get any minutes against Harrogate. And there's been other games where DeBayo could have played, and we don't see him. So that's why it's important for me that we do get another defender, because that's a large part of what Danny Farker likes to do. Indian Joe in the house on a win. Nice to see you, Indian Joe. Usually only turn up when we draw or lose. But he's saying here, start Joseph against Burnley. We need some energy up top. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. I think that could possibly unsettle Burnley, create a bit more space for our Dan James and Solomon too. Michael here just saying, Roden is made of steel. Fair play to him. Outstanding. That well steel, yes. Yeah, Roden is just dependable for me. Even I say this all the time. Even if I see Roden go down injured, say he has to come off for whatever reason, I think he'll start the next game. I just think he's wired like that. He's got kind of like that old school mentality, and I do love that as well. Yeah, I agree. We've got a few unsung heroes, but yeah, Roden is definitely one. Andre's here saying goalkeeper of anything. I hear it, Andre, but I've said it all month, but it's not going to happen. We're sticking with Melier, so fingers crossed that it just works out. All right, that's all we can hope for. Max Hage, that's tremendous. Next up, Parker versus Farker. Boy, are we in for a treat. Yeah, we're going to serve up that 0-0 on a Monday night in front of the world. Listen, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens, and we'll preview that this weekend. Mr. P now, shout out to you, Mr. P. Peru's own performance tonight may get Farker considering Joseph. Yeah, we shall see, but we know Daniel Farker as well. He doesn't like to mess up a winning formula. We've seen that before. So even if it's just a little kind of change, it's not always promised with Daniel Farker. It has to be said, and he's got patterns, hasn't he? Michael here saying, beware Sunderland, they look very capable. Got to say this as well, Sunderland. Michael, bring him up. Thank you for that, Michael. Even though they're right on the screen in front of me. How I've missed it, I don't know. But listen, they won their game as well. They're keeping up the pace with the rest of the pack. But Enzo Lefebvre is coming as advertised, people. He has added that quality class direction that I said he would add to us when we're in the Premier League. You can see he's just on a different level. And if they didn't have that goal disallowed, what a goal that would have been, by the way, that off the bar and that boom, boom, love that sound for a goal. But that assist that he would have made for that goal, absolutely delightful. And he's been putting in balls like that since he's joined, where he's cut defenses open. That's the quality of the player. And he's obviously, for me, a Premier League top level player. In the Championship, he's almost going to be like a cheat code. So yes, we do have to look out for Sunderland because their strikers have started to fire as well. So yeah, I'm putting them in the conversation. I didn't have them there before, and as you guys know, but they've made a real smart signing there. And provided they don't lose any of their better talent for the rest of the month, then yeah, they should be a problem. But if we keep doing what we're doing, we're currently 5 points ahead? Or is that 5? Yeah, 5 points ahead. Then we shouldn't have to worry about them. So Leeds, keep doing what we're doing, right? Keep doing what we're doing. Hanky is saying equal possession stats goes in our favor typically. Yeah, it depends. I mean, listen, at one point tonight, Norwich had 56% of the ball, but they literally it was just literally passes between themselves in their own half. There was no passes in our half. And the little possession that we had more passes in their final third. So again, possession stats for me are just for show. It's all dependent on what you do in them. And I always say this about Jose Mourinho when he was asked about what, the other team had 80%, you had 20%. And he says, well, they can have 80%, we'll take the 3 points. And he's absolutely correct. But yeah, all buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing, man. Listen, the football, like we say, the football isn't great, but it's about winning games. That's the most important thing. It's the absolute paramount thing to get out of this division and get back to where we belong. And that's the main thing for me. Let me just see if there's anything else before we go and head off. Let's have a look here. No, no, no. What's he saying here? Just a couple of numbers via LUFC data before we finish. Shout out to him, always providing these kind of stats here. Top of the championship, 17th win in 28 games, 16th league clean sheet of 24-25, unbeaten in 13 matches at Ellen Road, 4 straight wins at home versus Norwich. Manor Solomon's 5th goal for Leeds, Dan James' 7th goal for 24-25. We march on. All good, right? All good. But listen, people, please, before you go, like the video before you go, people. Leeds United top of the table. Put your thoughts and comments about the game below or anything else that you want to discuss between now and the end of the window. Put them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your night.